A very good morning. Today's topic is going to be on crop yield estimates and threat identification under the unit drone and IoT in agriculture. This is the topic which I have picked from Automation Techniques in Agriculture Engineering. Before going into the session, I'd like to have a small recap that is on the yesterday's class that we have seen something about drone and IoT and also something about the components that are involved in designing the drones and the specifications that has to be maintained while designing a drone. So today we will see something about crop yield estimation and how the drone is very useful in estimating the crop yield. So if we have to know how to estimate a crop yield, the producers usually count the amount of a given crop harvested in a sample area. Then the harvested crop is weighed and the crop yield of the entire field is extrapolated from the sample. So this is how initially we were calculating the crop yield. Today, if we are going to use some drone, then it is possible for us to calculate the amount of crop that have harvested in the sample area with the help of the photographs that have been collected or the data that have been collected with the drone, and that data has to be transferred to the app so that the data will be interpreted and analyzed, and it would give us a tentative amount of yield that will be provided in the near future. This is how the crop yield estimation could be done with the help of IoT applications. So how is the crop yield prediction is done? The prediction of the crop yield is based on the soil, meteorological, environmental and crop parameters. If we are in need of calculating the crop yield, then with the help of a drone, then we have to make use of the crop yield with the application or the data collection which is capable of interpreting the data based on the soil, meteorological and environmental, and also with the help of the crop parameters. Decision support models are broadly used to extract those significant crop features for the prediction. So before going thinking about why do we need, we have to know something about why the yield estimation is important, because the crop yield plays a major role in the import and export decision as well as the price structures. So if it plays a major role in crop distribution and also in the future crop planning. Researchers have developed different ways to track and predict the crop yield, including vegetarian indices and also the statistical models. This is the example of a vegetation statistical model I have given as a picture. So this is how the IoT can be used in calculating the crop yield estimation. So this is what I have prepared for today's class. See you in the next class. Thank you. Good morning. Today our topic is going to be about the unit of yield that is involved in crop yield estimation. So before going into the session, we'll have a small recap. Yesterday we have seen something about what is crop yield estimation, how does the drone have a major impact in crop yield estimation, why the crop yield estimation is very important. So today we will see something about unit of yield. So it is nothing but a measure of films coverage per unit of weight where the yield values are expressed in 2 lb in US standard, and it is the reciprocal of yield and is presented in units of gram per meter square. So this is how we usually calculate the unit of yield. Formula for yield analysis. Since we are seeing something about crop yield analysis, it is necessary for us to know about the yield analysis. The divided yield ratio is calculated using the formulas dividend yield ratio, that is dividend per share market value per share. So this is how we are calculating in a very simplest way, so that the amount of dividend per share and divide it with the market value per share to get the dividend yield ratio. So what is the main aim of crop yield prediction? We have been seeing crop yield addition, how do we estimate it, and this is what we have been seeing from yesterday. But why do we have to do? Why we do have some major objective in crop yield prediction? The main aim, it is an essential task for the decision makers at national and regional levels for rapid decision making. If we are having a very accurate crop yield prediction model, then it will be helpful for the farmers to decide whether we have to grow, when to grow that crop, and what could be the yield of that crop. There are different approaches to crop yield prediction. So what could be the parameters that has to be considered? The parameters that has to be considered while considering the crop yield predictions are temperature, rainfall, location of the soil, relative humidity and area. These are the features with the help of which the dataset is analyzed and the better yield is predicted with the ANN models. So these are the parameters that has to be considered while we are going to do some analysis. So the steps involved in crop yield estimate. I have given some manual calculation that has to be done. For example, if you are going to calculate the crop yield, then we have to select an area that represents a paddock. Okay, so do this 5 times to get an average of the crop A, after which we have to calculate the count of the number of grains in at least 20 heads or pods, and average that is would be represented as B. Using the table determination, the grain weight for the crop concerned is C. So the yield in hectares, that is A into B into C divided by 10,000. This will give me the crop yield estimation. So these are the things that I have picked over for today's class. To see you at the next class. Thank you.